I named this channel The Veto because I think the people have the ultimate veto power.
That's great.
It's our freedom. We have the responsibility to watch over society, to veto the bad ideas in the ballot box.
That's good.
I want to talk just a little bit about your background. Before you Lieutenant Governor,
Yeah.
you were a veteran in the political world. A lot of people will be listening to this that are either involved in politics or care about politics. What have you seen over, you talked about the change that AI brings and all these disruptions. What have you seen as some of the big disruptions that you've just experienced since you've been in office or started working in politics?
Yeah. Well, I mean, politics now is 24/7, 365. There's no off period.
Yeah.
The consultant game has gotten, very layered.
Sure.
You can be a full-time consultant and be a millionaire. It's a great job to get into, frankly.
Right.
The consultants have become very, very powerful. Not that there wasn't, powerful consultants before, but I think, with dark money operations, 501c4 organizations, there's just so much more money in politics. There always was, but I think it's pretty obnoxious level of money that is now infiltrated politics. And I think you're getting dangerously close to, those that run for statewide races, congressional races, U.S. Senate races for sure. You got to be rich. You got to be able to self-fund your campaign because, states that have very, strict fundraising laws, it's advantageous to people that are multimillionaires that can just, buy a race. I don't think that's good. There's plenty of really great people that are rich that are in politics, don't get me wrong. But I don't think just because you're rich is the only way that you should be able to get elected to politics. And so I think there has to be a right sizing there, in my opinion. I hope the pendulum swings back a little bit. I don't know, again, how that may or may not happen, but that certainly has happened over the last few decades or more. I've been involved in politics for about 25 years, and everywhere from the courthouse to the White House, and have run races everywhere. I still love it. I still think the party structure matters, but that's the one other thing that's really changed. The state parties, state Democrat parties, state Republican parties, state independent parties, they do not have the influence as they used to because of 501c4 organizations, because of think tanks, and just name all, just because politics is, again, 24/7. I don't know how healthy that is either. I think the party structure still matters and should still matter more than it does right now. That really has, it weakens the voice of the grassroots when the state parties are not strong and healthy. And I hope that we get back once again to having strong state parties that are really the accountability to elected officials in any given state.
What do you think, looking ahead? Obviously, when you were at the state party, for example, as chairman, big data was really becoming, it was the thing. It was the new thing on the block. Changed the game forever.
Yep.
Now we have AI coming in. There's new technology obviously there. What do you foresee as the big disruptor? What do you predict?
Yeah, data still will be the driving force. I mean, being able to geofence and geotarget, this is already happening in presidential races. You're getting down to 15 to 20 voters in certain precincts in Michigan that will decide presidential elections. That's wild. That's crazy. But in some ways, that's good, right? You're not bothering every voter. You're not sending every voter 35 mailers. You're able to send 35 mailers to 15 voters. Those 15 voters may not like it, but so it can be much more geofenced and geotargeted because data is so precise today. That's great. I think you're also going to reduce, there's probably going to be a lot of political consultants that make TV ads that aren't going to make as much money much longer because most of those ads are going to be made with AI.
Right.
And unless they pass laws that you can't have, political ads made with AI. But there's political ads right now that are 100% being produced within hours with AI.
Right.
Which again, consultants,
some of them might be better,
and some of them may be better. Some of them absolutely might be better. So I don't necessarily know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying that is a game changer coming. The fact that you're going to be able to cut a TV ad in 15 to 30 seconds. Now, you're still going to have to buy the ad. You're going to have to buy the ad time on
Right.
TV. And I would say that's the one other thing that's changing. I still think broadcast television matters. I do. But, with streaming has changed the game as well. So I'm having to buy TV ads on all the streaming services, YouTubes of the world as well. You're not just buying broadcast television anymore,
Right.
Or cable for that matter.
Sure.
It's much more, streaming. That's good though. You can do 5 little second, 10-second, clips. I would much prefer that than hogging my TV time. So it's all changing.
Sure.
Is what I would tell you. It's all changing. At the end of the day, I hope that the vision and the values and the platform of candidate A, B, and C matters.
Right.
I hope. But the way that you can twist an ad today it makes me a little cynical sometimes, certainly about politics. And I hope at the end of the day, voters are smart enough to still do their research and find the right candidate in that city council race or that presidential White House.
As you're talking about that, it made me laugh because I can remember watching pundits on TV, Republican pundits on TV after Obama won re-election, and they were saying we'll never win another national election.
Yeah.
We'll never win it.
Yeah.
Sky's falling.
Yeah.
And then you look today, and Democrats are concerned they will never win a national election
sure.
again because of the electoral map,
Right.
because of the migration we just talked about.
That's right. That's right.
They're going to lose seats in California and New York and other states. So
Yeah.
it's pretty fascinating.
It is.
So I often tell people, when you see change in politics, just stick around a little bit.
Bingo.
That's
Bingo.
kind of Will Rogers.
It is, yeah.
There's
I
a lot
mean,
of truth to that.
politics changes fast, and it will continue to evolve. And the second you sit in that lazy boy and you say, "Hey, we won, it's all over," it changes real fast.
Right. Great advice. Well, I want to switch to a little more personal conversations. I think policy is important. I also think it's great for people to hear from the person in the office.
Yeah.
I know faith is very important to you.
Yeah.
How has faith influenced your role as a public servant? I know how it influences you as a person, but as a public servant, what does that look like?
Yeah, servant leadership is maybe the first thing that I would say. I mean, my faith, I hope, on a daily basis drives decisions that I'm making, certainly in my home, but also, yes, as a public servant. And I think, what I've seen as an elected official, yes, there's Republican, Democrat, there's rural versus urban, but there's also egos.
No.
No, I know. Imagine that, right? And I think there's far too much of an ego. You get a little too comfortable with the cheers
Sure.
and the applause lines. And I do think, again, because of my faith, I know what my true north is, and trying not to be constantly a people pleaser, but pleasing the only person that matters, and that's Jesus Christ. In my home, that's what we believe. That does help. That it's been very helpful to me. Now, again, I haven't done it right every day, but I do think those that don't have a true north and don't have faith in their lives, and they're constantly chasing the clicks, they're constantly chasing the applause line, that's dangerous. And that'll make you really quick make wrong policy decisions as well. In Oklahoma, we're pretty blessed. I'm pretty blessed as an elected official to have some people in elected office that I've been able to look up to in my career. The late great Tom Coburn and Steve Largent and other believers. Faith, their biblical foundation for those. They were Christians. They were Jesus followers. Those were people that had such an influence in my life. And so I was able to, hey, I want to be like that guy. Mm-hmm. I want to be like that woman. But it was because they put their faith first. They put their faith before their job, and their job just happened to be politics. I see the elected officials that go off the rails, the ones that just don't know what that true north is, and their job is their entire life. And I think that's, frankly, a good leadership lesson no matter what industry you're in. But politics, it can be pretty dangerous if you don't know what that true north is and get off high center pretty quick.
You're a graduate of Oral Roberts University,
Yeah.
so am I.
Yeah.
It makes me think of, the quote, the motto of ORU is written on the back of Christ Chapel.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It starts out, you'll hear my voice
Yeah.
before you go to that dark place.
That's right.
And politics can be a very dark place.
Yeah.
How do you hear God's voice? What's that like? Is there a mentorship? Are you connected with people? How do you maintain that?
So for me, it's a small group of guys that at my church that I am we meet. It's our small group, so it's couples, and then we break away, and I'm meeting with 4 or 5 guys for coffee. If I didn't have that, I could get very unhealthy very quickly. They keep me in check, they check my ego. They're constantly, hey, did you have a date night this week? So it's everything from and everything in between. And I highly encourage, any man or woman. I think it's harder on guys. I think egos is a lot tougher with men. Yet if you don't have that, go find the church. Go find that tribe, so to speak, right? Of men that can be influential in your life. I think even before that, though, it does probably start with an older mentor. Find somebody in your church, at your job, somewhere. Your youth sports team that you're involved with that has 10 years on you. That's if you're 40, they're 50 or they're 60. That has been through a lot of the junk that you haven't been through yet. I've had that through phases in my life. Before I had kids, before I was married, before I had a job or in a leadership position. That's been very helpful for me as well.
You gave some great advice there that is good for anyone, whether you're in politics or I think business, or you're starting out your career. You're trying to navigate those waters. Want to get your final thoughts on what's really happening with young men in this country. Church attendance is down. Overall, we're seeing more people than ever that have no religious affiliation. Yet, young men in this country are choosing faith and living lives of faith at increasing rates. What do you think is going on?
It's interesting, isn't it? I love what I am reading right now and seeing on podcasts and others. I mean, again, I mentioned a revolution earlier. I hope that we have hit a tipping point again with young men. First off, to be masculine. That there is a difference between men and women. And I think some of that national political narrative that when that got mixed up and foggy, I think there was a lot of men that said, this is crazy. Right. Men are men, and men should be masculine, and they should be the leaders in the household. And they should, of course, treat their spouses and their brides like queens, right? Of course, yes. But they should be men. They should lead when it is healthy for them to lead. And I think, yes, we've lost a little bit of that in this country, in particular in America, and probably globally too. But I like what I'm seeing with young men today. I think you do, with younger generations, they smell a fake coming a mile away.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's been a lot of bad stories in churches around America that have led a lot of men and women, for that matter, away from the church or away from a particular church. And, I always encourage, listen, we're in the buckle of the Bible Belt. We both went to ORU. So maybe for us, I don't think it phases us as much because we're surrounded by churches and, no church is perfect. there just isn't. ORU wasn't perfect either. Go find, if a church wronged you, don't just lock things up and say, I'm done. Challenge yourself to go find another home, church. Because I'm telling you right now, you will find it.
Right.
You will find it. And I'm hopeful that will be a process for a lot of young men and a lot of young women. We saw that with the Catholic Church as well. There's a resurgence with the Catholic Church too, which is good. I'm hopeful there because I do want young men certainly to know that they're men and be the masculine men that we need to lead this country and lead this world. But I want them involved in a church. I think that is healthy. I think they need to be there, not just a small group, but a church, and to be led by a pastor or a youth pastor. I think that's healthy. And, I certainly tell, again, pastors that I meet with, the responsibility that they have may be a bigger responsibility than pretty much anybody that I could possibly think of. Certainly bigger than politics.
Yes.
So let's see where we are in a decade, because I think we're starting to have very healthy conversations as men. But I certainly hope that we start filling churches back up. It hurts my heart to go overseas, because I'm going to Europe in a few weeks, and to go to these amazing churches, right? These amazing cathedrals, and they're hollow. There's nobody. The only people that are in those churches in these European countries are tourists, and that's not right. I'm fine with tourists coming through there, but I want somebody preaching in these amazing cathedrals, and I know Jesus Christ would want the same thing. And so it's not just an American problem. It's not just happening in the United States of America. Globally, we have hollowed churches, and there needs to be, truly, the Spirit needs to fill up those countries too. I'm more optimistic in America than I am in a lot of these European countries. So hopefully what happens here will spread around the country and around the world.
Last question, I'll give you the final word. I named this channel The Veto because I think the people have the ultimate veto power.
That's great.
It's our freedom. We have the responsibility to watch over society, to veto the bad ideas in the ballot box.
That's good.
If you're sitting out there and you're watching this and you're not involved, you're sitting on the sidelines, what advice, you've been in politics from every level, what advice would you give that person sitting at home? What's their first step to get involved, to help?
I'm a party guy, right? So, if you want to get involved politically, it's not hard. First off, going to a precinct.
People will take the help. You're saying
people will take the help. They will, right?
Right.
So I got involved. I went to a few precinct meetings, but I did skip over some of that. I went and found my U.S. congressman, my mayor. I went and volunteered on their campaigns, because they definitely need help. There's a whole lot of great people that feel like they need to run for office that don't have help. That's a great place for somebody that wants to make a difference in politics, is go help your local city council man or woman. Go help your congressman or woman. So that would be some advice. If you want to, help your local county party, again, be a precinct official. Go to those meetings. We need a whole lot of help there too. And certainly
be a poll watcher.
And be a poll watcher, absolutely. You even get paid to be a poll watcher, right? So go do that. So those are a few places from a political perspective. But you are right. The world is controlled by those who show up. The world is controlled by those who show up. So show up, help those folks, those good people that want to get elected to office. Go feed the poor as well. You can't just do one or the other. I think it's both. You want to give back to a community, because I think that's what the next generation is not seeing from our politics either. Is that, and again, that's where younger generations they want if they see a country somewhere in the world that doesn't have a water well, they'll pay for it. They'll get on a plane and go over there and build it, right? They want to see that in their particular political party as well, that we're helping those that need it the most. And I think if the conservative Republican Party can say, here are the policies that are helping those that need it the most, they're going to have a whole new generation of people they're going to register as Republicans and get involved at that local level. But that's what it's going to take.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate you being on.
Thank you.
So in 1970, total healthcare spending in America was about $75 billion. Back that up to 2023, it's almost $5 trillion. What do you think is driving those costs, in your opinion?
I hear quite a bit that we've got this healthcare crisis. We don't have a healthcare crisis. We have a healthcare financing problem or crisis. It's the financing side of that, which is what we do on the insurance side.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Veto. Be sure to like and subscribe to this content on Substack by visiting yourveto.com. Don't forget that we the people hold the ultimate veto power. It's your freedom, it's your decision. We'll see you next time.